be back here again. It's a new one now. Nice new lectern. Last time I spoke, I was speaking about soteria and sozo. I was talking about salvation. The thing I was thinking about, like earlier on this year, I spoke on the 3rd week of January, and the message that I had there was, the man in the mirror, making a difference. And that was the beginning of the year 2000, and I remember part of that message was, with the year 2000, dream big, make things happen for yourself. That was the 3rd week, in the beginning, and guess what? It's Sunday, it's the 3rd, last week. So I get the beginning and I get the end. Yes. By the way, this morning, this woman were awesome, eh? If I don't mind, the wrestling, anyone watch WCW or WWF wrestling here? I'll pray for you after. That's right. But it was just like being a mover and a shaker, and with the woman coming up, like tag teaming, I don't know. Sometimes, when I interview those wrestlers, I'll go something like this. What you gonna do when a mover and a shaker comes after you? Christian, you pray for me after. Okay, tonight I just want to share with you something that is very simple, that God has put on my heart. I remember the last team that went to Fiji, there was a young woman that was on their team, and they returned from Fiji, and she came back and she goes, oh, that was an awesome experience. I loved it when I went to Fiji. And the power of God just really moved and the anointing was strong there. And she came back and she goes, you know what? I don't want to be the same again. From what I experienced into what I'm experiencing now, I don't want to be the same. I don't want to come back and do the same thing like I've always done. I've been there, I've seen the power of God, and I've seen it move, I've moved in it, and so I am going to make a different change. I am going to change. And she sure did. She dyed her hair. She really did. But she's an awesome woman of God. She's moved on. She's made it on there. Okay, so the basis is, the title of my message is this. Oh, what a year. What a year. Man, this year has been, it's been one of those years. At the end of last year, I was speaking how I was making a change. 9 years working for this government department. I was in a comfort zone. Money was coming in. I was able to buy stuff in there. And all of a sudden, it was a change in my life. I decided to go to university. And to leave a job of 9 years of secure money that's coming in, to a place where I couldn't even qualify for an allowance. Man, how sad is that? I didn't even qualify for allowance. And guess what? The people giving me the allowance is the people I used to work for. I decided that I needed to make a change. God had put in my heart, teaching. And that's where I'm at the moment. I'm training to be a secondary school teacher. And that's what I want to do. It's an awesome part of my life that I know I want to make a difference in kids' life. I want to make a difference in people's life. And just through the life experience that I'm going through the changes of learning the principle of sowing and reaping, what you put in is what you get out. The impact that God can make on my life is something that's phenomenal. And sometimes it's hard for me to see. And when you have a year like the year 2000, and you've gone through the whole year of fulfilling on what you decided to do, you go, whoa, what a year. What a wicked year it has been. We've laughed, we've cried, we've been frustrated, but we've also experienced the joys. So tonight, I'm just going to share about 2 people who are in the Bible. 2 of them I consider heroes, but I'll also share about 1 more. The first one is this. If you remember when I was speaking about Jericho and the walls of Jericho, there was a man by Joshua. Okay, if you want to read about Joshua, you can find it up in the book of Deuteronomy in here. And it talks about a man that Moses selected to be just to be his right-hand man. You know, just to follow him. You know, he was a brilliant military leader. Strategically, you know, he could plan battles. You know, but not just plan battles, just to fight, but plan battles to win. You know, to really win and to make a difference. And through the life of Moses, you know, Joshua was basically his shadow. Joshua was a shadow to Moses. And you talk about my year, you go, whoa, what a year I've had. Man, imagine the years that you went through. You know, when they went to the promised land, went into Canaan, he was one of the only two that experienced hardship in Israel, in Egypt. He went into slavery. And there was experience that he had to go through. You know, he walked through the desert. And the thing about Joshua is this. He was Moses' assistant and successor. And he was faithful to God. You know, he was faithful to ask God for direction and challenges that we faced. You know, when Moses died, Joshua could have said, oh, well, what do I do now? We're at the border of the promised land. I don't know anything else. Maybe I'll just go back to Egypt, you know, endure the life there. We've spent hardship 40 years in the desert. But no, Joshua decided, right, Moses is gone. He's got a choice. He can either just say, oh, he goes my leader. Well, that's me. I'm out of here. But no, you see, he decided he's going to go on. And that's an experience that Joshua went through. Because you see, what he went through, you know, he went through battles. He went through a desert. Like, he was sent through with spies. You know, spies into the promised land, and he came back with Caleb. Remember when they went to, you know, scope out the land and come back and give a report? Joshua and Caleb were the only two that came back with positive reports. And yeah, we can take the place. You know, these guys were moving shakers. Just like the woman this morning were moving shakers. You know, they wanted to make a difference, and they said that they could do it, but they didn't end up taking it. Because, you know, everybody around them started speaking and said, oh, you know, those guys were pretty big. Oh, the food in that was really nice. Yeah, the lamb flowing of milk and honey, but not pretty big guys. You know, I don't think we can beat them. But Joshua and Caleb go, no, we can take it right now. I'll tell you what, we'll get up the truth, we'll go over there now, we'll conquer the land. But it didn't happen. So that's almost like experience of failure. You know, oh, we've come so far, but we're going to take it. So around the desert they went. How long did they go around the desert? You want to tell me? Yes. Yeah. Man, what can you do in 40 years in the desert? First thing is that when God is giving you something, that you take it. And if there's a calling in your life, you know, God's got a promise for you, and you know, you don't grab it, oh yeah, you're gonna be in for some learning experiences. You know? And that's Joshua. He's a man like me that's really awesome. He's like my hero. Because he's a man that, you know, regardless of what he went through was good. Because you see now it's beginning to build character and it's beginning to make him strong. Okay, let me tell you about the second guy. This guy was one that he was a disciple. His name was Peter. Now this guy was a feisty guy. Do you remember Peter, the disciple? In Mark chapter 14, like, I'll just give you a bit of background on regarding Peter. He's the guy that will open his mouth in the wrong time, in the wrong place. You know, Jesus, when they were having the Last Supper, you know, Jesus said, you will deny me. And when the shepherd is killed, you will all deny me and just flee. And all that stuff. But what did Peter say? He goes, no, not me. The other 11 maybe, but not this guy. I'm sticking right by your side, right to the death. I'll be with you. Peter's the guy that denied Jesus 3 times. The guy that said he was going to stick with me, he's denied me 3 times. He's one of the guys that go, oh, you know, Lord, I want to be on the, you know, I want to be on the side of the throne with you, you know. I want to be your right-hand man. Now, this guy that just continues to shoot off his mouth. You know, he shoots it off regardless. And he doesn't worry about what other people are thinking. Like in that Last Supper, imagine if you were there and Jesus was saying, oh, you will all leave me, and then one guy says, oh, not me, the other 11 maybe. That's what you probably want to say. But you see this guy, Peter, he says, all right, I'm going to go for it. The difference between Peter and Joshua is this. Peter went through a fall. He went through the same experiences, he walked with Jesus. He went through his miracles with Jesus. He watched Jesus minister. He saw Jesus walk on water. He saw Jesus, heal the blind. He was right there. He was there where they fed the 5,000. Now, all these experiences, only to come to the end to say, I don't know this man. They go, I'm sure you're the guy who followed Jesus. And Peter's going, no, it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. And he denied him 3 times. How would you feel if, oh, well, it's Jesus? Man, that's the ultimate betrayal. But you see, Peter went through a phase, going through a time of glory. He's walking with a man. It's a man called Jesus. Jesus is the man. People are flocking around him. People just want to see him. They want to hear his word. He's a radical guy. Now you have these Pharisees, they speak, oh, well, I am a man, and I thank you that I tithe, and just not like that tax man who steals money from people. Who's the guy? There's a guy that went for a fall. He went for a fall. And so what happened is that he returned to what he was currently doing. So he was a fisherman. Jesus called and said, come and follow me. And yet his last words to Peter was this, you will follow me. You will follow me. So Harkness, what do you say? When I was going, whoa, what a year. For me, let me give you an example of my life was the worship team, being a part of the vision team, helping serve in ministry, being in university with your studies, doing part-time work. All these things are happening in your life. And oh yeah, this is great. You're following your leaders and you go, yeah, that's awesome. And then you come to the end of the year and you go, whoa, what a year. And all of a sudden, you become tired and go, oh man, that was a full-on year. Maybe next year I'll just kind of ease it up a bit, I'll continue to tithe, I'll get tired, and maybe how about once in a while, but I think I just might ease up, But I'll tell you what, the experiences that I went through, I lived what it really means to faith. I've been through a process of where I've made decisions and choices and with the position of leadership that I've been in regarding worship, I've made some wrong decisions and I've had to live with it. I've had people who I've relied on who have let me down, and I've let down people. This is all through this year. But in saying that, I've also experienced the joys and the successes of other people. I've also enjoyed the success of seeing projects completed. And you see, after you get tired after doing this throughout the whole year, you go, oh, I don't think I really want to go through that again, But I'll tell you what, like I was saying earlier on in the year, when you move from something that you've been comfortable in and you move into something that you're uncomfortable with, and you go, oh man, this is really hurting, I'm not enjoying this. Oh man, this hurt of, people backstabbing or people just talking over me. I don't think I can handle this in that position. But I'll tell you what, when you've been there and you've done that, something happens to you. There's a growth that begins to happen in you, that begins to change your life, and begins to change the outlook that you begin to see. When I went to university, man, I met a whole lot of range of people. And a lot of them, I've got titles for them, it starts with F, fundamentalists. These guys are radical, man. They'll say, this is this, and this is that, and this is that, and this is a whole new world to me. I go, whoa, how come you believe in this? Is it because the lecturer said it? Or why are you believing this? And it opened my eyes. People are willing to listen and begin to take on information without checking if it's right or wrong. And all these different experiences that I went through, having a look at failure, having a look at seeing how people operate, looking at moving in a whole different world from working in the corporate world to becoming a student. It's a whole change. And I tell you what, that change that I made, that I began to move out of the comfort zone of 9 years, they're moving into an area where I became uncomfortable. You know what? Growth has taken place. You become a better person. You become a bit more experienced person. You become wiser. With your failures and successes that you've been through, I talk about church, failures in the church that I have made, or failures at school, or failures in work, wherever it may be, you learn from them. You really do. And it makes a difference within you. Because you see, you begin to grow. And when you say, oh, I think I'll just go back to how I used to be, you won't be able to because you feel so uncomfortable because you've already experienced what it's like on the other side. You've already experienced what it's like to grow. You really can. And you can't say, oh, I think I will just ease back to how I used to be comfortable. Because then you'll begin thinking, oh, I could have done it. Well, I wonder what it was like if I stuck in it. I know I failed, but if only I had done this and this and this, there's your experience. If only when you begin to understand it. Let's go back to Peter. He went back to fishing, after denying Jesus. Joshua, his leader, died, but he continued to move on. Peter went back fishing with his crew. After years of ministry with Jesus. Experiencing failure, experiencing the guilt or probably the shame of his unfaithfulness to God. He was fishing and then this man called out on the shore. He goes, cast your net on the other side. Sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. So they cast their nets and they bring on they pull on a net that's full of fish. Okay. Who do you think that is? Jesus died. Do you think he's back? Oh yeah, he's back all right. Peter, who was half naked, on the ship taking off his shirt, he's pulling up the snare of fish, he jumps into the water and he begins to make his way to Jesus, to share a meal with him, to share breakfast with him. You know what? When he understood, or when he realized that he had denied Jesus and he had failed, something had happened to him. Something happened to Peter. When Joshua went through all those experiences of battle and war with Moses, and then Moses died, he didn't get to enter into the promised land, something happened to Joshua. When I went through the failures of my work, or failures of my studies, or failure of what I'm supposed to fulfill in the ministry, or with my awesome worship team, I learned something from that experience. And sometimes you gotta take the punches. Let me tell you about a person, a famous New Zealander, who took the hard road. He took the hard road to the top. And he said two famous quotes. See if you can guess who I'm talking about. First one is this. Philip, I have been awful awesome. And the other one is this. I don't know if he actually said this. Ben Kingi, I got two words for you. I'm going to win. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, I'm talking about the man who's got the big left punch. He went to the top. He worked his way through those little fights. Worked his way through the little fights. Fought a couple of no-names and all of a sudden started thinking, oh yeah, I kind of know that guy, he's got a good punch. To all the way to the top where Harkness Letoa, at the Mandalay. Ben Kingi got up on the podium. Now this is bold. I don't get this. He gets up to the podium and he goes, Harkness Letoa, this is what you're going to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Western Samoa by way of Auckland, the new world heavyweight champion of the world, Ben Kingi. He lost! The guy lost! But that didn't stop him. Because you see, he knows what it took to work his way to the heavyweight champion of the world. Harkness Letoa was just playing with him. It was like playing with a mouse. And you see, David Tua worked his way there. He got to the top, he lost, but he knows what it tastes like now. The experience that he went through is not going to make him even more determined. He could have said, oh, I lost. I let everybody down. All the Samoans that pray for me here in Auckland, all the Samoans that pray for me in Samoa, and all the Samoans that pray for me in America. I lost. I might as well go back to being a kitchen hand in Auckland. But no, because next year, March, my next flight, I'm going all the way back to the top. You see, he's gone through an experience. And when you go through an experience like that, it's life-changing. And I'm talking about your lives. I'm talking about my life. When you go through, when you begin to experience over the year failure, when you experience over the year heartbreak, when you experience over the year bereavement, you know, no one can take that away from you. But that experience that you get, oh my gosh, watch it change your life. Because now you've got something that you can help somebody else with. You know, with your failure. Oh man, hey, I know what it's like. I've been there, man. I was next there. They talked about me. And I tell you what, it's not worth giving up. It's not worth giving up. I know this is what happened to me, blah, blah, blah. Or when something begins to happen in your life, like you lose a loved one. And that's the hardest thing you can go through. Oh man, when the church pulled in for Regan's funeral, you know, that's an experience I've never experienced before. I've never felt so much love. I've never seen so many people cry. I tell you what, man, I cried like a baby. You know, and that's an experience that I really don't want to go through again, you know, just go through a bereavement. But that experience has made a change in people's lives. And it also makes a change in the family. And you can either choose two ways, either to give up and just say, oh, that's it, I can't handle this. Or you go, okay, let's move on. Let's make a difference. Let's make a difference. We're going to do something about this. You know, we can either just lay back and say, oh, I can't carry on any further. Or I say, hey, I learned from that. I love him so much. He's made an impact on people's lives. And so I will dedicate my life to make sure that his legacy will continue, because he made an impact on my life. Regardless of how this little man with such a big heart and he's supposed to make his debut, you know, playing for a worship team. That's an experience you go through when you lose somebody. But the thing is, you can either just curl up and say, oh, I don't think we should continue, or you can say, right, let's make a difference. Let's move on. I know what it feels like to hurt. I know what it feels like to cry. I know what it feels like to celebrate. I know what it feels like to be joyous. I know what it feels like to be satisfied. And I do know what it's like to be unsatisfied. But you've grown. Do you want to go back to where you were before? Do I want to go back to where I was before? You know, you can't take shortcuts. In your life, you can't take shortcuts. In 1980, you remember a woman by the name of Rose Russ? She was a marathon runner. She won it. Everybody really knows her name. Does anyone remember her? Yeah. You know, this woman won the Boston Marathon. That's who she is. You know why nobody knows? Why you don't know her? Because nobody else knows her either. She won, you know, she got to the top. She stood on the podium, and they put that fern in her hair. Yeah, she's the winner. But people began to ask questions. I've never seen this lady before. I can't even remember her at the starting line. And look at her legs. She's got cellulite. What's the problem here, man? Oh, there's something that just doesn't match up, you know? This woman cheated. She jumped in probably in the last 4 Ks of the race and ran all the way to the finish line and said, yeah, I won. But you see, she took a shortcut. She doesn't have the experience behind her. You can say, oh, okay, let's run it again. She'll go, but I'll just catch my taxi to the last 4 Ks. She got found out. She ended up confessing. But that's what will happen. If you don't do the hard yards, you're going to get caught out. If you don't have that experience, you're going to fall. You know, you've got to go through the experiences. You know, the hard times, the good times. You know, the times that you have to grow to make that difference. You know, you've got to grow. You've got to make a change. You've got to go through that experience of hurt. You've got to go through that experience of growth. Because when you get that experience, when the times, you know, you can have all this happy, joyous time, but when the hard times come, you're going to stick at it because you've done the hard yards. You've made a difference. You really have. You know, Like we have an awesome time in worship, you know, and you're lifting up your hands going, oh, yes, Lord, I love you so much. But when all the music is gone and when all the hype is gone, if you're caught up in the hype, where are you? If you haven't done your hard yards, you know, your personal relationship with God, there's nothing there. Because, you know, you have to do the hard yards. Bobby Houston was talking about the 80%, you know, just sit back and you've got that 20% of all of you are being movers and shakers. You want to make that change, you know? You want to make that change because you're willing to put in the hard yards, or you're just going to go, oh, what a year, maybe I should just ease back a bit, you know? It was all good while it happened and I got hurt along the way and, oh, it's going to come from, I might just, you know, ease back. Oh, I'd like to be part of the worship team, but only annual Christmas, is that right? You know, just things like that. You know, it's easy just to say, oh, that's it, man. Time to ease up, relax in the year. Last, before I finish, I just want to finish with this last person. This person knows what it's like, you know, to hurt. Knows what it's like, you know, to be betrayed. This person knows what it's like to even die. This man had to go through it. He had to go through it. Because if he didn't go through it, I wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be here. I was